This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
You're not going to believe it, Fitz. We've managed to drag this man down as his last chat in 2024. Michael Usher, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, it's really good to be here.
Hello.
Great to be here.
Oh,
Lovely.
mate, we love having
Nice
you
to
in.
be here in person.
And do you know what? We're going to go through some of the great lists of 2024. That's fantastic. But why are you here? I was so excited knowing that you were coming up because on social media, I just keep getting served great moments from TV and also media over the years. And one of the best would have to be the 2011 sit-down you had for 60 Minutes with Sarah Ferguson.
Wasn't that a hot mess?
That was just... do you know what?
I've never seen it, so I want to hear you guys chat about it.
I want to find out what happened behind the scenes. But if you haven't heard this sit-down, one-on-one interview, here's a little bit now.
Did you take the money? At one stage you had $40,000 cash sitting in front of you. Did you take it?
Absolutely, yes. And it was given to me and I got it in the car and then returned it straight away.
Once the scandal broke?
As soon as I knew it was a scandal, not once it broke, Michael. But don't try and trick me now because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit. John, can you just delete it, please, that bit? Because I don't want to go down this...
This is everything you've written in your book, though.
Yes, I know, but it's
and
the
you're
way...
releasing your book and you've agreed to do the interview because of this.
The book has already been released. That's done. It's finished. I've answered it. Thank
fine.
you very much. Moving on to the next
But
question.
this is just the starting point of this year in your life that you've written about.
Thank you very
and
much.
It's pivotal. It's what started the whole thing.
Thank you.
You do write, though, that this tabloid scandal, in fact, almost helped you, that it let you look...
I'm very grateful to being in that position, in a way, when I hit rock bottom, because of it, it woke me up.
How big a wake-up has it been?
What more can I say?
The biggest.
Of course it has.
How has it affected...
Remember. What's she called? Cindy. I'm going to take 5 minutes.
I'm sorry?
No, nothing. I'm just going to take 5 minutes.
It's at that moment she gets out of her seat.
How
Wasn't
do
that
you not?
talks?
I know. And how do you not lose your
Cool.
Like you were just so.
She walked off.
Well, Kate, the thing is, as I kept repeating to her, you know, when you're sitting there going, I don't think... I had nothing up my sleeve. I had no extra things other than what she had written about in her book.
Yeah.
And she was trying to make a lot of money off the book, right?
Yeah.
So she's agreed. There were no conditions on that interview at all. And during the day, earlier, we'd spent hours with her. She was...
Where were
calm
you?
and sweet. Buckinghamshire in London. Like, we'd flown all the way to outside of London. We'd flown all the way to do the interview. And she wanted to make out... I had to call her Duchess. She wouldn't let me call her Sarah.
Awesome.
Right? It was all lots and lots of airs and graces.
Wow.
But she was fine and she was relatively sweet. But then there was just this moment, like there, she turned and getting her back into the chair was... crazy. She came back and she continued the interview, and then it was like a different personality again. And at the end of the whole interview, and I've never spoken about this before, I sat in the chair. She eventually walked out. My producer came over to me. We just stared at each other. The cameraman from behind the camera looked out and said, "What was that?" And I said, "I don't know what happened there." Anyway, we walked outside, and the Duchess came running up behind me. She chucked her heels off. She's in her stockings on the lawn going, "Now, Michael, how was that?" And I said, by that stage, I just said, "Sarah, if I were you, I'd be asking me to go back into the room and do that interview all over again because I don't know what happened there." Yeah. And she goes, "Oh, well, anyway, who wants to sign some books? I'll sign your book for you. And now, what are your kids' names?" And off she went from there.
Oh,
it was just
my God.
Perhaps she is just perhaps she's just a hot mess. I don't know.
Mush, that's for a 60 Minutes journalist, right? That's jackpot in a situation like that. But you've got to be so calm, and I love how you actually took your time before you asked the next question. In that situation, are you freaking out? You're going, "Oh my God, we've got gold here," and where do you? Can I ask you what was your inspiration, and who did you look up to in moments like that when you come through the game, the media game, Mush?
Look, there's a lot of good interviewers over the years. You know, I think if you go back, you know, Michael Usher Senior, Yana Vance, who just took their time, quiet. You know your research.
Calmly.
You know the question. Silence is sometimes the best way to sit there and let someone talk to you because you've got to listen. You can't just fire. You know those rapid fire questions? They get nowhere. That's just a stunt. You know, I wanted her genuinely to answer the questions and reveal what she'd written in the book, as you do with any guest you're trying to interview. So I guess you go a bit patient, but don't worry about the heart's beating on the inside. And look, just efficiently, if you've got someone coming into your studio here, for example, that's going to give you yes, no's and want to get out the door quickly.
Oh, the worst.
I wanted her to sit down and engage in a conversation. So you've got to try and say, look, hang on, come back, be calm, let's try it again. And
but you know
it was a frustrating exercise.
Professionally, and we do it as well, quite often you'll try and bond with the person beforehand.
Yeah.
So you might make some small talk and ask about the day and thank them for coming along. And how was she when you were trying to bond beforehand, or did you keep it quite separate?
This is what I said before, because it was like a split personality. We'd spend hours out in the countryside with her. She wanted to show us her horses. Well, we took her to a stable where there were horses, and she there was a weird behind-the-scenes moment, because as we were walking along with a horse, she wouldn't get on and ride the horse. We thought she was going to, but she's leading a horse, and her bloody horse stood on my foot. Thankfully, I had R.M. Williams boots on, so I'm wincing, and the camera's rolling and going, well, Duchess, it's a lovely countryside here.
Your Clydesdale's broken my foot.
Mr. Ed wouldn't get off my foot, but anyway, it was just, a few of us internally have spoken about it for years. It's just one of those, disaster / excellent / what the hell happened moments in TV that happens anyway.
Amazing.
I loved watching it. It's outstanding.
Every couple of years it goes viral.
Yes, it does. It pops up. We'll get you back this time again.
This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
I'm really excited about this tonight, Mush, because tonight, 7 o'clock on Channel 7, it's the 2024 in review. And you know what? There's a lot of news stories that you do forget about. I mean, it's massive. Well, we're in a year of Olympics this year as well, which was huge. And what was going on? Royals, US election was massive as well. So
someone tried to shoot Trump.
Yep, that was a big
that was a massive thing.
It's funny you say that, Fitzy, because even when we're in the biz and we sit down to create this show called The Seven, like, what are our moments that we want to do? And even we're going through the list going, oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then, tragically, which we can never make light of, is when we were doing the list, I mean, we started with the whole Bondi Junction attack as well.
Of course.
Which is one of those rare stories that even me working in news shocked the hell out of me when I first heard it. When it started to evolve late in that afternoon on that Saturday. And it became, as it evolved, it became worse and worse. And we knew that so many people were injured and dead, and shocking things like that. So there's lots of things. There's lots of up moments too, which is great. But
can we throw a few at you, Mush, if you don't mind, to see if they're on the list?
What do you got, Fitz?
Yeah,
what about Kate's pregnancy to Dr. Chris Brown and New Idea? Was that massive? Because that was on the front page.
Is it up there with me trying to date Kate's mum or not?
Kate and her mum.
Pregnancy stories are so
Where did
unfair.
that come from?
I just had a burger.
That's cruel, isn't it?
That wasn't fair at all.
That's cruel. No, I didn't make the 7 list this year.
Can I throw one out there in regards to the Olympics, because it was a huge moment that went global? But is Ray Gunn on the list?
She is definitely on the list. I mean, we looked at this and debated it, but it is possibly the number one talking point in Australia, and continues to be. There's the cost of living crisis, and then there's Ray Gunn's breakdown.
Absolutely.
So, Ray Gunn,
it's
the
what
music,
everyone was talking about.
Yeah, so she makes it. And what we've done with this special tonight at 7 is rather than us just going, and then there was the Olympics and then the bad thing happened, it's our views. Nat Barr's fascinating. You should hear her tonight. She's got really clear views about a lot of the stories she's covered this year. So it's just a little bit of us behind the scenes going, the stuff that we can come in here and talk about, like, what? What happened?
Yeah. Do you know what? I hope too that, as celebrated on this show, Taylor Swift gets a mention tonight.
Oh, Tay-Tay's right.
But I would also like, when that is presented on the list, I'm hoping you're in your favourite Taylor Swift outfit with some sequin glasses and friendship bands.
The leotard, the sequin leotard.
And maybe you sing a bit.
You know what? Next year, we should theme interview. Every time we talk about it, you dress as Taylor or dress as Trump
people
or
have to
dress
guess what the theme is by what you're wearing.
Not what we're saying.
We were just having a conversation with Mush off air during that song, and I think your favourite era, similar to Taylor Swift, would have to be your Kalgoorlie era when you were working up there.
Wild West.
Man.
Wild West. What was a great way to start in journalism.
Great way to learn,
Well, and look, and I think, as I was saying too, great way to go and make all your mistakes on air, because you're right out in the middle of nowhere, doing all sorts of terrible things. But anyway, that was Wild West stuff. It was a good way to start your career. Yeah.
I love that, Mush.
All right.
No, I want to ask one more question. If you talk about Kalgoorlie and getting the mistakes out of the way, can you remember one where you just completely stuffed up?
There's been a few. Okay, I'll reveal one moment, and it's a little topical given what she's going through at the moment. But we know our Dawn Fraser's been a bit ill at the moment. And I was in Atlanta in 1996 covering the Olympic Games. We've been in an Olympic year, which makes our list tonight in our top 7. And the cameraman and I were just stuffed because when you go to those gigs, you work around the clock. And I said, "Come on, we've got to go and get a pizza somewhere." So we're sitting having a pizza at this hotel, and there's a lot of Australians staying in that hotel, so we thought we'd camp nearby in case we've got to do interviews. Anyway, we're having the pizza, chowing down, and there were all these sirens all of a sudden, and an ambulance turned up, and Brendan's got his camera, and I swore him to secrecy on this, like Cabinet Papers for a couple of decades. And he said, "Should I get up and shoot?" I said, "No, mate, I'm just so hungry. Like, just to sit and chow down on the pizza for a minute." Anyway, person gets wheeled out on the stretcher, they get put in the ambulance, and at the last second I turned and went, "Oh, good Lord, that's Dawn Fraser." And Dawn had a heart issue in Atlanta in 96.
Yeah.
And they'd been called to the Australian hotel and taken Dawn away. And for my sins, I spent the next week in Atlanta perched outside a hospital trying to get a shot or an interview with Dawn Fraser.
You could have got it.
And I got a pepperoni slice right here going, I had the exclusive and I chose the pepperoni pizza.
It just wheeled past me.
It was
To make you feel...
I turned to Brendan and I said, 20 years, mate. We don't speak about this for 20 years.
Couldn't get the shot,
we're
guys.
locking it up. It didn't happen.
Sorry, guys. Couldn't get the story.
Poor girl. Anyway.
Pizzas at Dawn. The 7 2024 in review is on tonight at 7 p.m. on Channel 7. We love you, Mush. Have a great Christmas,
to be here.
mate.
Yeah, Merry
Thanks
Christmas,
for coming.
everyone, too.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, mate.
Fits in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.